Dice Company contains fantasy violence, mature themes, and unapologetic bickering. No feelings were hurt in the making of it, but listener discretion is advised. Dice Company will always be free, but it's not free to make. Please consider supporting us on Patreon or Apple Podcasts and get access to our weekly roundtable show Extra Roll. Just follow any of the links in the show notes for this chapter.
Aboard the Sterling, Gideon takes the stairs to the poop deck 2 at a time. The Sterling groans around him as the wind batters the hull. Behind him, he hears Geddes shouting something indistinct. Hears the heavy metallic tread of Otis following close behind. Another bang echoes overhead. Then voices. Many voices. Gideon pushes through the hatch onto the poop deck and stops dead. At least 30 people crowd the deck of the Sterling. From the look of them, they are dock workers, labourers, young men and women with muddy boots and hard eyes. Old people wrapped in patched scrawls, a butcher still wearing a stained leather apron. Half of them carry flaming torches. The other half seem to have armed themselves by sprinting through a farming village at random. Pitchforks, kitchen knives, axes. One man is holding what appears to be an ornamental chair leg. A light drizzle of rain glistens across the deck beneath the torchlight. The sun is setting. At the centre of the crowd stands a broad woman in a miner's coat, attempting to tie a red cloth around the end of a broom handle, like a military banner. It keeps sliding off. Everyone turns towards Gideon at once. There is a long silence. Then, one of the younger men points dramatically. "Are you friend or foe?" Gideon blinks. "I'm sorry?" "Are you friend or foe? Are you for the people or for the Empire?" "Well, I'm not for the Empire." "He sounds like a posh one," exclaims one of the group angrily. Several people nod enthusiastically. Gideon looks behind himself briefly, just to ensure there isn't another person standing there. "I'm not posh. I'm Gideon Octavius Zeno Donothlian, and you are aboard my ship. We're borrowing it." "That isn't how ships work." Another man steps forward eagerly. "We're starting a rebellion." Gideon stares at him. "Tonight?" "Aye." "With chair legs?" The man looks down at the chair leg in his hand as though only just realising it exists. It's a sturdy one." Gideon closes his eyes briefly. The group begins talking over one another. "The whole city's rising." "People are sick of the Empire." "They're sick of Astrid too." "We're marching through the Lantern Ward first." "We'll burn the Ink Court and Astrid's Townhouse." "And maybe the fish market." A woman beside him frowns. "Why the fish market?" The speaker hesitates. "Symbolism?" The arguments begin immediately. "No, it ain't. It could be. How's Haddock a symbol?" Gideon pinches the bridge of his nose. "This is not how rebellions work." The broad woman folds her arms. "You're saying we shouldn't fight?" "No," Gideon replies instantly. "I'm saying if you attempt a revolution with this level of planning, you'll all be dead by breakfast." That quietens them. Gideon steps forward now, eyes sweeping across the crowd. "You have no command structure, no supply lines, no scouts, no fallback position. Half of you are carrying farming equipment, the other half look as though you've never punched anything harder than bread dough." One of the older women raises a finger. "I stabbed my husband once." "Wonderful," says Gideon. "Promote her immediately." A few people laugh nervously. Gideon points towards the city lights in the distance. "You think revolutions are won by angry marching and loud songs? The Empire has bounders, walls, organised retaliation. The moment you make enough noise to matter, they'll crush you." The younger man with the chair leg shifts uneasily. "So, what do we do then?" Gideon pauses. Geddes and Otis reach the deck behind him just in time to see it happen. See him straighten. "The first thing is you stop behaving like a mob." The crowd are now in rapt attention. "You want a rebellion? Then understand this. Rebellions survive because they become inconvenient." He begins pacing slowly before them. "You don't start with grand victories. You start with disruption. Broken supplies, missing patrols, fires in the right districts. Panic, confusion. Make the city feel unsafe for the people trying to control it." The torchlight dances across their faces as they listen. "Hit food stores. Communication posts, guard rotations. Never stay in one place. Never fight fair. If the Empire arrives with 20-pounders, you vanish before they get there. The woman with the broom banner stares at him. Have you done this before? Gideon hesitates exactly half a second. Done it. Had it done to me. It's all the same when you think about it. No one seems reassured by that answer. But they keep listening. Most importantly, Gideon says, you need people. Oh, we've got people, says the young man. No, you have anger. Different thing entirely. He points to the city again. The dock workers matter. The ferrymen matter. Bakers matter. Stable hands matter. They spend their whole lives teaching you to stay in your place. They tell you that the world works the way it works because it has to. Because clever men built it that way. Because powerful people know better. That's the trick, you see? Convince ordinary folk that unfairness is natural, and eventually they'll apologise for noticing it. They'll tell you the poor deserve their hunger because they weren't smart enough. They'll tell you the frightened deserve their fear because they weren't strong enough. They'll tell you every boot on your neck is somehow your own fault. His eyes harden. And the worst part is, after enough years, people begin repeating it themselves. But decency and fairness matter. Not because fairness is soft, not because it's kind, but because it's the only thing standing between civilization and the wolves. He points to the crowd now, getting into a flow. A fair world means a child eats before a lord buys his third palace. It means laws punish the cruel instead of protecting them. It means a person's worth is measured by what he gives to the world, not how much he can take or seize with both hands. The powerful people hate fairness. The Empire hates fairness. Do you know why? A few grim smiles spread. Because fairness terrifies them. A fair game means they can lose. All their lives they've played with loaded dice. Bought judges, bought soldiers and bounders, newspapers, sepulchres, burgomeisters. They cheat so often they've mistaken cheating for intelligence. Gideon takes another step forward. And every time someone points at the game and says, this isn't right, they laugh. They call you bitter, dangerous, envious. No! What frightens dangerous men is the moment ordinary people stop asking for dignity and start expecting it. The silence now feels electric. You do not beat people like that by becoming monsters yourselves. That's another trick they teach you. They want you cruel, angry, reckless, because they can point to you and say, see, savages, animals, they need us to control them. So, you fight clean where you can. You protect people who cannot protect themselves. You hold the line, you tell the truth, even when lies are easier. Especially when they are. And when you must put your boot down, his smile vanishes. Make certain it lands on the right neck. He looks across the poop deck at all the faces. They have wealth, armies, palaces, fine silk curtains to hide behind. But here's the truth they're desperate for us never to understand. There are more of us than there are of them. A murmur spreads through the group now. The mood changes. Before they were frantic. Now, it seems, they're thinking. Geddes watches it all from the stairwell with Otis stood motionless beside him.
Gideon appears to be accidentally leading a revolution,
the automaton notes. Aye, Geddes mutters. That sounds about right. Do you think we should tell him that he's the former king? The broad woman steps closer to Gideon. What's your name? He blinks. I am Gideon Octavius Zeno Donothlian. Silence. Right, she says eventually. Can we just call you Giddy? No one's ever asked permission before, but yes, why not? Another voice rises from the back. He's right, though. Aye.
He knows what he's talking about. The people would listen to someone like him.
Gideon's expression tightens slightly. Would be the first time someone's believed that today. The young man, still clutching the chair leg, speaks.
If we're going to do this proper,
the broad woman nods slowly towards Gideon.
Then we need somebody to lead us.
Gideon opens his mouth immediately. Oh, absolutely not.
But you understand strategy.
You can speak.
Oh, you've actually got a plan.
The voices build up over one another. Aye,
he should lead us.
Lead the revolt. Gideon looks genuinely alarmed. while behind him, Geddes is trying his very best not to laugh. The broad woman steps forward one final time. Torchlight flickers across her face. Behind her, beyond the deck of the Sterling, Lunardine's lights ripple softly beneath the approaching night sky. Well then, Giddy? She extends a rough, calloused hand towards him. Will you help us bring down an empire? Welcome one and all to Dice Company's Small Embers Chapter 102, where a group of friends weave tales of triumph, heroism and despair under the guise of playing Dungeons & Dragons. My name is Tom, and I'll be your DM for the continuing adventures of the Order of the Heron. Order of the Heron! Introduce yourselves and tell us one fun fact about your characters.
I need to first hear what the motivation behind that speech was.
Not entirely sure. Just came out.
My voice just dried up towards the end of that
Really
sentence.
fell between two metaphorical pedestals for me, and I was.
Well, I'll go first. Hi, I'm Alex, and I'm playing Seeksorrow. And Seeksorrow has never had a girlfriend.
Aww.
In a vulnerable moment, he once asked a drinking buddy about this. The buddy replied, "They're probably scared of you." Seeksorrow still carries the wound inflicted by that comment.
Poor lad.
My kind of thinking was that Seeksorrow just looks like an executioner. He just looks terrifying. He's a nice fellow, but he looks fucking scary. And his mate, in the way that mates will in the pub, just casually tell you something, like drop a truth bomb in your face. And it has cut Seeksorrow to the quick.
Do we need to find Seeksorrow a meaningful other then? Is that what you're saying? Is this a message?
Does Seeksorrow want a meaningful other? Is he, maybe he's not interested?
I think he.
Do I need to
think he
dust off
thinks-
my best accent?
I mean, I want to know more about her for sure.
Then we should have opened the train doors on the steam runner.
I think in the same way that he thinks he might be doomed to a sort of grim life, he also thinks he might be doomed to not be lovable.
Oh,
We can change that. We can.
Yeah.
Message received, Al.
Vanda's going to provide surgery.
There's no message.
what you want is you want Vanda on the case, don't you? In
Yeah.
this sort of situation.
Oh my God.
The ultimate wingman.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Don't worry, Al. I've got your back.
I'm calling it now. Seeksorrow ends up with Morticia.
What's the name of Seeksorrow's friend? Just for those who might be
It
interested.
was just a mate in the pub, is what I had down. It was just like a casual acquaintance.
And his casual acquaintance has a name, presumably. What's that name?
His name was Edward Charles Taylor. Or Eddie, Ted to his mates.
Like it.
He was 6 years older than Seeksorrow, and he was a cobbler.
Good Lord.
His mum was called Joan, and he was missing a little finger on his left hand from a soaring accident. Anything else you want?
Nope.
Does that have something to do with Vanda?
Well, you said I could see you were going to push this information. I was like, right, fuck it, you can have loads of information. And that all just came out from God knows where.
It's good. It's good. Like it.
Good evening. My name's Dave, and I play Benny Quez.
Absolutely not. That's the worst of the
No, I
lot.
believed it. I
What
believed
are
it.
you talking
I didn't.
about?
Yeah, why not? Why not? I mean, I like that his his hello has a point of day, which almost certainly won't.
I was instantly sure I was having a bad morning.
I was transported into the welcoming atmosphere that I'm sure Dave was trying to create.
Excellent. That is what I was trying to create. As we know, Benny has been travelling separately to the Order of the Heron for some time, but he hasn't been alone. Of course, he was with Bardal Schultz briefly, and he's spent some time with Boffo, but he's had two companions who have been with him the entire time. The first, of course, is Missy, the raven, his familiar. But the second, you may have forgotten about. It is, of course, the chinchilla.
Stephen Sakura.
He's back.
A sleepy chinchilla who spends most of his time napping in Benny's pocket.
Message received.
Yeah, we need to deal with this wielder of wild magic.
Yeah, I felt like there wasn't enough chaos going on at the moment, so I thought I'd just chucking a little extra.
Vander doesn't know that, does he?
No, I don't believe it's come up.
Oh, we're going to get some perception checks in here soon. Real soon.
I would like to perceive chinchilla.
Just in case there's one around. Oh, amazing. Hi, I'm Charlie, and I play Vander Finnick. And I've gone back to one of the older styles of facts where we just talk about something about the character. Very minor. Just little cheeky fact, if you will. Vander loves the sound of the ticking of clocks. He considers the tick of a clock to be a clockmaker's greatest achievement in unnoticed psychological violence. Every tick is a tiny assault on peace in its own way, and a careful accumulation of pressure forced into our everyday lives. For these same reasons, Vander keeps lots of clocks in his cabin, all ticking slightly out of sync, so no moment is permitted to pass cleanly.
Oh my God, you've somehow taken the concept of time and made it Vanderized.
Many would argue that our dear Tick and Tock are also tiny assaults on peace.
Oh my God! I love that you did that because there was totally a pun intended.
Yes. Retroactive intention.
Layers, guys. Layers.
Vander's like an onion in many ways. Also makes people cry.
I'm fine with that. I'm absolutely don't come back here.
Listeners will note the puzzled look on Charlie's face during that when you tried to think of a comeback.
No. I'm buoyed by your response. I went there. Strange vocab, but there we go.
Hi, I'm Harry, and I play Tok, an imposing 6'8" automaton.
Hey!
Tok fears that he is no longer a hero.
Oh.
Vander and Petron both thoughtlessly attempted to throw themselves into the Bergen, sacrificing their lives to save others. But Tok did not. He stalled. Of course, he does nothing thoughtlessly, but it was fear that held him back. The fear of dying. Little Tick has grown and learnt much, but Tok fears that were he to perish, Little Tick alone would not be able to carry on the work. The work must continue at any cost, even at the loss of a child's dream of being a hero.
Okay, so it started beautifully, and by the end, I'm now scared. Was that the intention?
No, you remember Tok's a moral character, perfectly ethical.
What does that mean?
He has a higher calling.
And certainly no one who's ever had a higher calling in their mind has ever done anything bad.
Exactly.
That's what history teaches us.
Yeah.
Tok has learned from the best.
Oh, God.
Petron, Seeksorrow, and Benny.
Could weep like a proud dad. I like the fact that Tok stalled. I like the levels of that. I enjoyed that comment. And yeah, otherwise quite earth-shattering fact there, Hazmat.
I mean, if you think about it, a moral map made up of observing the people that you just listed would be a deeply confusing document.
Tok has navigated it adequately.
Oh, you mean like where you compare the map they give you for the London Underground with the truth and realise that it's completely changed your concept of the place because you've learned the map and the real world doesn't make sense?
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
I actually was thinking of the London Underground.
There we go. We're in sync, guys. This is teamwork at a new level.
So yes.
This is not teamwork. Rapid fire housekeeping. Don't forget to follow us on Blue Sky, TikTok, and YouTube. Come join us at the official Dice Company Discord server, the Dice Cord, the greatest TTRPG server in the entire world. Check out our other shows, The Tales of Kalevala, audio dramas set in Alessia, one-shot stories where we try our hands at other game systems like Kids on Bikes and Call of Cthulhu, and Darkstar, the galaxy's local service provider, a mothership actual play. Please leave us 5-star reviews on all of them, on any platform you use, as it helps us reach new people. Finally, don't forget to sign up to our Patreon for early access to episodes and our companion show Extra Roll. It really is the best way to enjoy the madness we produce. And please remember, bad memories are like splinters, sometimes painful, but you learn to live with them. The problem is, they always work their way to the surface eventually. So let's turn the page on the next chapter of Dice Company. Previously on Small Embers. The gang are reunited in Lunadyne, capital city of the Kalian Empire, and on the hunt for Astrid, the one remaining Shadow Vanguard. Their travels have brought them to an almost empty local pub, where they've helped radicalise or rationalise a local called Old Pete, who is now convinced that blowing up the Ink Court, the administrative hub of the Empire, is a great idea. With Pete preparing himself for his mission, you all set yourselves ready to discuss an automaton who you've just discovered works at the Ink Court, who you hope to be able to follow all the way to Astrid's location.
Vander takes out a cheroot and takes a long pull.
It occurs to me we may add some light adjustments to the plan to assist you, Seeksorrow. I have a proposal.
Go on, Vander.
If we were to venture out of this fine establishment when the clerk and automaton begin their evening stroll, we may accost them politely and explain that they are to change the records. I believe I have some skill in persuading them, and suspect they will be amenable. Once they have changed the records, we may then allow them to proceed for a time. Then Benny may do his work, and when they are close to the target, as it were, the premises of interest, we can subdue them, and then talk, as a fellow automaton may take the place of the clerk's associate, and another of the party the place of the clerk.
I would find that to be acceptable.
But Vander, would we not be falsifying records that our friend Pete over there is going to momentarily blow up?
Not if they are on the person of the clerk we subdue.
Oh, okay. The Lord Seeksorrow, but no other lords. They've all been stricken from the record. It'd just be me.
In terms of the records left, yes.
Very exciting. All right. Sounds good to me, Vander. Where do I sign up?
I think a drink first before any pen is placed to paper.
Not for P.
And Vander pours exactly 4 more drinks for the 4 party members.
What's Top going to do with his?
So you guys all drink your drinks and you wait, and for a few hours, make sure to keep a close eye on the Ink Court across the road. Exactly on time, the clerk and his automaton assistant step out of the building. The clerk himself is tall and thin, and he moves quickly and efficiently. Behind him clunks the automaton. Tok, this automaton looks slimmer than traditional builds. It looks simultaneously like a new model, but is wearing a matching dark robe as that of the man that he's following. And he looks, even from this distance, he looks like he's got scuff marks, like he's been well used, or has lived an interesting life of some kind. And you also notice that their robes, on the cuffs, they're stained with ink. The automaton is carrying an enormous ledger in his hands as they move through the streets as the sun begins to set.
Cometh the hour?
Says Vander, rising painfully.
Seeksorrow, if you would join me.
And Vander begins scuffling towards the door.
Am I required, Vander? I may help subdue the automaton.
I believe that you would be most welcome.
Says Vander, thinking about it. And Vander strolls out and calls across the roadway to the clerk.
A moment of your time.
As his cane clicks on the cobbles.
The clerk's head snaps in your direction, and he tilts his head as he looks at you, and then swiftly marches towards you, followed by the automaton. He approaches. Hello.
Good evening. I'm delighted to have caught you, for I have a pressing matter to discuss. Am I correct in assuming you are a clerk of this fine establishment?
The cane flicks in the direction of the door he just left.
That's correct. My name is Elrin Vale, and I am a clerk. Although we're not in business hours at the moment. This is most unusual.
That is fortuitous, for I have an urgent matter that overrides the petty trifle of business hours. I would like to introduce myself and my associate. I am of the Highmore line, and You may have heard of my associate before. He goes by the name Seeksorrow.
And Vander gestures to Seeksorrow.
And Seeksorrow says, "Charmed."
I think while this interaction is taking place, Benny has kind of located himself in the shadows, just in case things turn nasty. He can have a bow aimed at the automaton.
The clerk snaps his fingers and the automaton steps forward and opens up the enormous ledger, beginning to thumb through the pages. And you see his metallic finger kind of scanning down each individual page. And he stops and then holds the ledger out in front of the clerk, who looks. "Ah, Highmoors. Well, of course we can do business with one of the older families of Aethelon. And the other name you said was Seeksorrow, is that correct?"
Correct.
And again, the automaton thumbs through and the pages at high speed flick through. And he stops, the finger goes down, and he taps it and shows, and the tapping is quite insistent this time. And the clerk looks down. "Seeksorrow. Oberon Seeksorrow?"
Yeah, says Seeksorrow, dropping all pretense of his sort of highness, because he obviously wasn't expecting himself to be in the book.
As you look at the clerk, you can see that what little colour there is in his face has drained away. "That is not a common name in common circulation. Are you the only Oberon Seeksorrow?"
Seeksorrow's kind of thinking fast here, but he's not a quick enough thinker, and nor is Alex. There's not any other. I'm the only me, he says, not sounding remotely noble.
You can see his eyes have now widened, and his mouth is opening and shutting like he's trying to speak, but the words are not coming out. "Master Seeksorrow," he says eventually, "please, how can I assist you on this day?"
Well, I was sort of hoping to. I've got a title to add into the book. I've won a title in my travels in the East, and I just wanted to make sure the book was that all the records were up to date. My associate here, he nods towards Tok, has got the papers, says Seeksorrow, hoping Tok's got something better than the pile of scribbled notes that he handed him.
Tok reaches his hand into his cloak and produces whatever little tick has managed to reproduce in the time we've had.
I feel like there's a tools check in this somehow.
So I do have expertise in all tools at the moment, so...
While you're doing that, Dom, Vander's going to try and take a sneak at these. Obviously seen that the book has surprised the clerk, so Vander's going to try and work out what was on the page next to Seeksorrow.
Absolutely. Give me a stealth check, please. You can have it at advantage as well, because the guy only has eyes for Seeksorrow.
Unfortunate.
Oh, wow, that's an 8.
Vander slaps his own face into the book.
You begin to kind of crane your neck, and the automaton's head snaps in your direction, and he slowly lifts the book up to cover it by his chest.
I'm happy to go more obvious because I want to know what's on the page. So can I do anything here? I mean, I'm happy to just obviously crane.
Yeah, you can absolutely do that if you really want to see what's in the book.
Yeah, I'm happy to. I feel like we've got muscle on our side, so I can be a bit impolite here. Is that another roll, or is that...
No roll necessary. If you're not worried about being caught, then, absolutely go for it. Tok, first.
I only got a 29 on this one.
Oh, my good lord. Okay, so Little Tick has produced an immaculately bound book with a series of chronologically listed events from the fictional Seeksorrow line.
Pictures of the various Seeksorrows doing their bloodthirsty, magnificent things.
And all of the pictures look like Seeksorrow facially.
Even Wilhelmina Seeksorrow.
With different hair.
It's a perfectly chronicled history of hundreds of years.
Tok takes a quick look at it and says, "Acceptable work, Little Tick."
Thank you, Father!
We need someone to make this as like campaign collateral.
And then passes them to Seeksorrow.
So, Seeksorrow, you hand the perfect book to the clerk, who doesn't bother to look at it. He hands it to the automaton, and while the automaton is taking the second book, Vander, you easily see what's written down. And in it, it says, Oberon Seeksorrow, born Frost Hollow, occupation the headsman of the Emperor. 9 weeks earlier.
We approach, Seeksorrow, the nub of the issue, I feel. You mentioned some time ago that you witnessed the Emperor in person.
Vander looks very definitely at Seeksorrow.
I think it is time for you to spill the proverbial beans to your friend and Captain Vander.
Before my time as a gravedigger, I had a different profession. I was very good at it. I was a good gravedigger too, but I was particularly good at my old job, and that's how I came to the attention of your mate, the Emperor.
I see. And what was this previous employment?
Well, you're aware that the Seeksorrow men tend to have grim jobs, and so when it didn't work out for me as a school caretaker, because of the accident where I ended up as a philosophy teacher and then had to bowl out through the window, I needed a different job. And my dad knew someone who knew someone who knew someone, and long story short, I got the job as Frost Hollow's executioner, the axeman, the headsman they called me after a while. I was quite good at it. One chop, hit the right spot. God knows, I've seen bad executioners, and honestly, you hit the wrong place, it's an absolute bloody mess.
I agree entirely. A job that requires precision and skill. You will hear no criticism from me. How does being an executioner place you in the presence of the Emperor?
What happened was I was very good at my job, as I said, and some sort of man who worked for the Emperor, don't know how these things work, it's all shadows and cloaks and masks. Some sort of man that worked for the Emperor sort of found me, saw me doing my job. I guess they were coming along to see that some enemy or friend or someone they were interested in got executed. As I say, I did the job well every time, so, head off, life finished. And after, he came up and spoke to me and sort of signed me up, I guess, sort of poached me from Frost Hollow and said I could have a lot more money and a nicer life and sort out a better house for my mum and all that sort of thing if I went across the sea to Lunadyne and did the same thing there.
So you crossed the sea and ended up dispatching the direct opponents of the Emperor.
Well, yeah, that was the trouble. I was naive. You can probably tell I'm not a political person, really. Simple man, you might say. And I just thought, I'd be doing the same job. Murderers and bad people, I guess.
I know from experience that people say the most valuable things moments before they pass across to the other side.
Vander muses.
Well, people didn't say much to me. I was a man with the axe. I wore a hood. By then, I think most of their talking was done. Sometimes they pissed themselves, but apart from that, they didn't communicate, really. I had conversations with people, mind. I wasn't asking them for information. More, they told me their stories. And that was the problem, really. I started to realise that, unlike in Frost Hollow, even with Ericsson and all his, what we know he was, really the people that got their heads chopped off there were just bad people. They did a bad thing, they killed someone or whatever, and then they found themselves on the block. In Lunadyne, it wasn't like that. And over time, I started to doubt whether everyone there really deserved what they were getting. It was much more complicated there, as I suppose you can imagine. And there was other layers to what they did. It wasn't just do a bad thing, go in a cell, get your head chopped off. There was a lot of stages before that. That was it, really. My name came with me, the headsman. I don't even know if the Emperor knows me as anything else. Rarely saw my face. Rarely anyone saw my face. Had the hood on most of the time. But I worked down there in the Emperor's dungeons, and I did come face to face with him a few times.
And did you learn anything of interest in your interactions with the Emperor?
Vander leans forward now.
The smallest detail, Seeksorrow, may be of great importance. Think carefully.
Well, I suppose the only real detail we need to know is that the Emperor's got a neck connecting his dark mind to a body, and give me the right opportunity and I can separate the two. And this is all over.
Of course.
But it's always slightly baffled me. It was about It was about 4 or 5 years ago, I slipped away from Lunadyne. I was sure by that point, I'd been there about a year, and I was sure that I'd cut off a few heads that didn't deserve cutting. And once I got back to Frost Hollow, I just went back home. I was waiting for a knock on the door, and nothing came. I've always been baffled by that. Why didn't they come after me? And that still sticks with me. I don't know why they didn't come after me. Maybe something about Frost Hollow and dividing up the world between the Emperor and the Warden. But I'm out in the open now, and I don't know. I wonder if maybe they'll be interested to catch up with me as I'm interested to catch up with them.
So the clerk's been shaken by that.
Indeed.
When Seeksorrow hands over his lovely book, he gives a little kind of shaky nod to Tok of thanks, but it won't take Vander's level of perception to see that all the fun of this has gone from Seeksorrow, who hands it over like a child handing in late, poor quality homework.
As you can see, a grave clerical error has been made.
Of course. And he looks at you as if hoping you'll lead him to what the clerical error is, because he knows there's no errors.
In the world of clerks, which I accept is rather opaque to one of a station such as mine, I imagine that such errors cause egregious consequences.
And his eyes flick to Seeksorrow and then back to you. Well, of course. How can we resolve this little issue?
A good question. I see you are deserving of your role. I suggest correction. I require the current record be obliterated and replaced with the new records, exactly as they are chronicled.
Understood. Brother Cadogan, you heard the man, you have the information. Please remove the current record and update it with the new, correct, free of errors record that we now have. The automaton looks at the clerk for a moment, and you can see that the clerk is getting frustrated that the automaton is not listening to him. He says, Brother Cadogan, I've told you before, now do it! The automaton, you see him kind of, his shoulders sink, and then he just starts to scrub out with a quill.
Can Tok work out by observing whether this automaton is likely to be sentient? Because that looked like a display of emotion on its part.
You can certainly try.
I think even Casio calculators get upset when you get the maths wrong.
I think that requires insight. I think
Okay.
or perception. I will allow perception.
Fun fact about Casio calculators, they are actually sentient.
And we also know that if Harry had one, he'd be the person that writes boobies right now.
100%. They hate that, though, those calculators. Find it very reductive and rude.
Tok gets an 11 for perception.
Very difficult for you to tell. He certainly seems to move in a more sentient way than other automatons you've experienced, but the fact that he doesn't speak is not a great sign towards sentience. He does, however, notice you looking at him, and he reaches into his robes and pulls out a golden seal, which he flashes in your direction. The golden seal has 2 crossed scrolls. He nods and puts it back in his robes.
Interesting.
You do not recognize the symbol.
No. What was he called? What was he called by the other guy? It was
Brother Cadogan.
So throughout this exchange, Seeksorrow can see there's all kinds of conversations spinning around him, but the man at the centre of it is just standing there looking a bit sad and lost.
A busy night of corrections ahead of you, then,
says Vander, pointedly at the clerk.
Yes, of course, and we will get on the case immediately. Lord Highmore, it was a pleasure to meet you, and Lord Seeksorrow of Misery. I'm happy to have updated our records with the correct information, and hopefully you will remember that we did that. Once again, my name is Elrin Vale. In case you ever need to speak to anyone, you can speak to either of us. Obviously, I am the Chief Clerk, and Brother Cadogan is a member of the Hermetic Order of the Golden Quill, so you know that he can be trusted as well.
I will note your fine work in court.
Well, hopefully it doesn't need to go to court.
I mean a court of friends, what we call a gathering in circles I move in.
I think there's a big difference between at court and in court.
Oh, it's been a while for Vander, clearly.
While this is happening, in the background, you can hear the kind of patter of feet as old Pete sprints across the road towards the building.
I fear he may be hoisted by his own petard.
Vander hastily points his cane in the direction the clerk was already walking, as a gesture to kind of guide him away from here.
I won't take up any more of your time.
Of course, gentlemen. Pleasure.
As they go, after they've turned around, Tok is going to use the message cantrip to silently send a message to Brother Cadogan, saying, Brother Cadogan, query, are you sentient? Do you wish freedom? Raise your right hand if you are sentient. Raise your left hand if you are sentient and wish for freedom. Message ends.
The automaton stops in his tracks for a moment, raises his right hand, and then lowers it and follows after the other clerk.
Okay, Tok isn't going to pursue it any further.
Vander's eyes are going to flick to Benny.
Is that a follow them gesture?
I'm looking to see if you're already doing it or what you're up to.
So Benny's been lurking in the shadows, just keeping an eye on events, and is quite intrigued by Seeksorrow's response to the situation and the questions Vander was asking. I'd really like to know a little more, but I guess it depends what Vander is sort of gesturing. If he's gesturing Benny to move, then I think Benny will start following, because that's what's been agreed.
You see Bellerophon scuttling towards you, and Vander sends you a message.
Bellerophon will keep us updated on your movements.
Bloody try.
You hear the sound of suckers as he's making his way.
And yeah, and Benny's going to start following.
Cool. Give me a stealth check, please, Benny. DC 13.
I mean, I'll do well to fail. 22.
You begin following the clerk and the automaton, Brother Cadogan, as they make their way through the streets.
Going to follow along behind Vander, and we might try and cheer up Seeksorrow by talking at length about his theories about human pheromones.
I think Vander's also going to try and obviously once the pheromone chat's died down.
You got to let that pass, haven't you?
You do.
Seeksorrow takes refuge in the kind of Tok just talking, because it gives him an opportunity to not really do anything. But he still looks like a 5-year-old who's just watched his birthday cake get punched and then eaten.
Entirely oblivious to that, Tok's theory is that Benny has noticed.
We've got to hear it.
that his thing he's noticed is actually a lack of pheromones in the city, because the elites have left, and therefore they're not producing the pheromones that control the masses, which is why in the pub we found a revolutionary, and thus Vander and Benny were both vying for control to establish, using their own pheromones, another proto-nobility within the hive. Vander said as much, that once the body takes an insult, it looks to the head for clarity.
In the form of pheromones.
In the form of pheromones, of course, as with all other animals.
Vander tunes out the delightful white noise and tries to lean into Seeksorrow, albeit that Vander's at his top pace of about 4 miles an hour and panting.
You look like a man who requires to be unburdened, Seeksorrow.
Well, maybe, Vander, I don't know. I'm sort of more worried that maybe I should be burdened. Maybe I deserve to be burdened.
I can carry your axe if it is too heavy, Seeksorrow.
No, that's all right, Tok. I didn't really mean it like that. I'm happy with the axe. Thank you, though.
Tok may have the right idea,
says Vander, now kind of clinging to Seeksorrow's sleeve to keep up this moderate walk.
A burden shared is a burden halved.
Well, maybe, Vander, I don't know. I mean, you just got it, scrubbed off the record, but it's still happened. So I don't know, maybe that's, I don't know, I wanted to be a lord, so we didn't, I don't know, so all the sad things didn't happen, or at least they didn't happen without some fun memory coming from it. But I don't know, right in that moment, my past caught right up with me, didn't it? Hit me right in the face.
You refer to your time as an executioner?
Yeah, that's right, Vander. Right here in this city. I don't know what I'm doing, mucking about, pretending that I'm some silly lord of somewhere else. I cut heads off here for the Emperor, so I don't know. It just suddenly all just seemed like a silly dream.
The clerk registered nothing short of fear, Seeksorrow. You must have been notable in your time here.
Yeah, I was very good at cutting people's heads off, Vander. That would inspire fear, and I was obviously, well, I got used to do that in a way that was increasingly frightening for people, I think, and became troubling to me, which is why I went home.
And found this new life,
says Vander with a wheeze.
Well, I sort of waited at home for a few years. I thought the Empire might, send another me to sort me out, as it were. I thought, you can't just leave this kind of, I don't know, somehow they didn't find me, they didn't come for me.
I suspect your reputation for causing fear may have been a protective shroud of sorts.
Well, yeah, being a giant dangerous bastard with an axe will put certain people off coming after you, but you'd have thought the Emperor would have had people willing to take that risk, or people scarier than me. We've met a few, I'd say, along the way. Not least yourself, Vander.
Well, I am no stranger to dark pasts, it's true, but life is bountiful where futures are concerned.
That's true, Vander, but I don't know, even in your darkest days, you didn't earn your daily bread chopping heads off for the bloody Emperor, did you?
I have killed people for no money at all.
Well, that's the problem for me, though. I was doing it for someone else's purpose.
But now you have your own.
And Vander's grip tightens slightly, not through the walking, through something else, some other connection maybe that Vander's trying to seek.
Well, maybe, but I don't know. I worry that I'm just going to cut more heads off in another blind, doomed attempt to, put a smile on my own face. What does that matter after all this?
The changing of an empire matters for 1,000 years and as many thousand more lives.
I don't know whether this place seems like it's about to turn over to some, whatever that fella said, socialist utopia, I think he mentioned. I don't know what either of those words mean, but I don't think it sounds very good.
I spoke with gods recently, a story I will have to relay another time. But it strikes me that there is more choice than you might think.
Well, maybe. I don't know. We'll see what happens next, won't we? I guess there's this, knocking down the empire, mates, and sounds like a good idea, but I don't know. This idea of going off to be lord of somewhere after, I don't know. Maybe I should just find a quiet life, use the axe on a few trees, and get out of all this, take myself out of it.
I have a theory on what makes great men, if you are willing to hear.
What was that for one of your theories, Vander?
Deeds, Seeksorrow. Deeds.
I don't know. My worry is I've done enough bad deeds. Just dig ever deeper down the hole, and dug plenty of holes in my time too. Actually, at least honest work, that. Maybe all I'm doing with all this is just digging my own grave.
Despite my best efforts, Seeksorrow, I see a great deal of good in you.
That's a kind thing to say, Vander. I'm not sure I see it myself now, but I'm grateful.
I think in time you will.
I hope that's true.
Now, help an old broken thing to his quarry.
And Vander pretty much puts all his weight on you at this point.
Well, in the spirit of doing things that I think might be basically evil, let's get moving, Vander, eh?
Indeed,
says Vander, now being kind of dragged along.
And as we move along, Benny is going to send Missy skywards. So she's got a literal bird's eye view of the three kind of groups. So the automaton and the clerk. Then Benny a little bit further back. And then the others a little bit further back. So she can kind of scan across the way.
Missy is back. Benny, you follow Clark Vale and Brother Cadogan, rounding corners, and you find yourself in front of a barricade that is blocking a narrow street. It's made of furniture, old doors, and splintered bits of wood. No one is guarding it or even using it. It looks like it simply exists because somebody built it. You can easily clamber past it, and as you do so, the shouts, cheers, and cries that come from the heart of the city begin to quieten down. In the distance, you see a tall and imposing townhouse. It is set back slightly. The facade is orderly, but the lines do not quite agree. The windows sit in a way that suggests intention without symmetry. The front door itself is closed. The house does not show any signs of damage, nor of any care given. It gives the impression of having remained this way for a long time, like it's resistant to change. At the front door, either side of it, are two bounders beyond a closed metal gate. They are drinking hot mugs of tea, steam rising in the early evening air. They don't seem interested in actively keeping track of what's happening on the street beyond, staring blindly into the middle distance, unaware of the impending approach of Chief Clerk Vale and Brother Cadogan, or you behind them. What would you like to do?
I just think I'd like to observe where the clerk goes. Is he heading into the townhouse?
He is heading towards directly for the gate of the townhouse. You still have time to act if you would like to attempt to stop that from happening.
Yeah, I'm going to call out after him. Excuse me, pal. You've, I think you dropped something.
His head snaps around. Yes. And he moves swiftly towards you. Oh, interrupted again. What have I dropped?
No, sorry. There were a bit of paper on the floor there, and I just the wind must have blown it away. Hang on, and I kind of take a couple of steps to the side as if following a piece of paper. I'm essentially trying to just buy a bit of time for the rest of the group to arrive and do whatever it is they're going to do.
Nice. Give me a performance check. Let's see how convincing your chasing an invisible piece of paper down the street is.
7.
Brother Cadogan, I think this person is trying to rob us. Are you a thief? You look like a thief.
What the hell's that supposed to mean? Benny stands up looking extremely affronted.
Don't try and come the innocent with me, young boy. You are chasing an
Boy now.
Indeed, you're chasing an invisible piece of paper. You think, as the chief clerk, that I haven't seen people trying to rob before? Look at you. You've got all the equipment. You've got the face that says, I'm going to steal your coin purse. Well, you can't have it.
If I were going to rob you, pal, you'd never know out about it. I'd have your coin purse away and I'd be disappeared up the street and you wouldn't even have a sniff of me. How dare I try and help you out and you accuse me of thievery, and not even incompetent thievery. That's the worst of it. I will not stand for that. Thank you very much.
You can have a persuasion check at disadvantage to try and convince him of your
I don't know if I'm even trying to. I'm genuinely upset.
Actually, it might be a deception check, actually, now I think about it. Give me a deception check.
Okay.
At disadvantage.
I don't know. I feel like Benny's not deceiving anyone.
That is at 12 with disadvantage.
Yeah, not with that roll.
No. I didn't think he was trying to deceive. I feel like he's being genuine. Okay.
Yeah. That's a natural 1 for 12.
Cool. Brother Cadogan, stop him! And the automaton very gently begins to place a ledger down on the ground. And it looks like he's about to gear up towards trying to apprehend you.
Can I see what's going on with the others now?
You're now within sight of this scene that is unfolding, with Benny kind of waving his hands wildly, trying to proclaim his innocence of a crime that actually he wasn't going to commit. But
Vander, it appears Benny is trying to rob the clerk and Brother Cadogan. Shall we assist?
It is important that the clerk is not alerted to our wider plans. Seeksorrow, if you render the clerk unconscious so he wakes up without further knowledge, and Talk, if you can deal with the automaton, I would be obliged.
And Vander is now looking like he's at the edge of exhaustion, so he's probably not going to be much use here. He's kind of wobbling on his cane.
How do you want me to get him unconscious, Vander? Can't you do that with magic? I mean, I can whack him on the head, but I don't. That doesn't seem very...
Yes to whacking,
says Vander, now leaning against a wall.
Okay. Seeksorrow has a shovel, I think.
so the clerk's attention is currently fully on Benny.
Benny has spotted everyone in the corner of his eye. I'm just trying to basically hold his attention until the very last moment.
Talk, have you got any sort of like a medicine I can like slap over his mouth and knock him out? I don't want to hit him with a shovel.
Negative. Seeksorrow, I believe Benny or Vander may have more appropriate items.
Oh, sod it. Never mind. Seeksorrow gets the shovel out. And he's just going to broadside the guy over the head with the shovel. And hopefully he's got the right... I mean, I'm not sure that a medic would recommend this as a way to render someone unconscious, but...
That's cool. Give me an attack roll DC 12, please.
hell.
Just do an unarmed strike.
Oh, that's a natural 20 for 30. No. This guy's head just disappears into his body.
You can specify that you do a non-lethal attack.
Can you with a shovel?
Well, I mean, you're an expert, so I would say yes.
Okay.
I mean, if you want, you can specify you cut him in fucking half at this point.
Oh, and yeah, he
Call him a
could be
headsman
dead
for
and
a reason.
buried in one. I could just pound him into the ground like a nail.
Describe the attack, please.
Joking about power aside, Seeksorrow definitely doesn't want to kill this guy. He was perfectly friendly, and Seeksorrow's already worrying about his own evil deeds. So he just tries to give this guy a bonk on the head to render him unconscious and nothing more, if that's achievable.
That's absolutely fine. With a clang, you hit him square on the face, and he just totters for a moment and then falls back completely unconscious, but still alive.
As you do that, Benny bends down, casts prestidigitation, and a scroll appears in the palm of his hand. He goes, "Look, told you, you dropped it on the floor."
Is Brother Cadogan still advancing on Benny?
So he's now stopped because someone has attacked and incapacitated his chief. And he's now looking at the unconscious person and the armed Seeksorrow and Benny. And he looks like he's not entirely sure what to do.
Brother Cadogan, I apologize. I will provide medical attention. And Tok will take out the smelling salts. If he's not attacking, then he's not a threat.
Yeah.
So presumably this guy actually hasn't taken any actual damage,
He would have taken 1 damage.
in which case there's not an awful lot that needs to be done. But Tok's going to try and make it look like he's providing medical attention.
When Seeksorrow tries to talk down the situation by going, sorry, I thought there was a spider on his face.
Brother Cadogan looks confused now, and he's taken 2 steps back, and he's now watching Tok apparently applying medical aid to his friend, and he reaches down and picks up the ledger and holds it close to his chest.
So anyway, Tok's going to pick up the clerk, pass him to Brother Cadogan, and says, "I believe he needs rest and more medical attention. If you would provide, that would be satisfactory."
Give me a persuasion check.
Not Tok's best skill. A 13.
Good enough. Brother Cadogan looks at you for a moment and then nods and takes the body, making sure to store the ledger on his side. He's now carrying Chief Clerk Vale.
Tok will give him a healing potion as well, just a basic, normal healing potion.
Brother Cadogan reaches into his pocket and pulls out a folded piece of parchment, which he hands to you, Tok.
Okay, Tok will take it out and read it.
In it is the directions to a building across town.
Okay, Tok will stir it for now.
Brother Cadogan nods at you, turns around and walks off.
So, but is he no longer heading toward Astrid's townhouse?
He's no longer heading towards Astrid's. He's actually heading in the direction of the building that he marked on the map for Tok.
I believe we have met the second revolutionary of this evening, if my observations are correct.
Says Vander, finally arriving.
To who do you refer, Vander?
Why, Brother Cadogan,
I do not understand, Vander.
is it not strange to you that we didn't have to deal with him, and that he chose to change his route? Almost as if he didn't wish to step in the way of our plans.
I believe he was frightened, Vander. I believe his friend was hurt, and that he sought aid.
Then maybe we can confirm my suspicions. What was on the paper he passed?
Directions. I suspect to the Hermetic Order of the Golden Quill.
A gesture of friendship, one might assume.
Possibly.
Befriending robbers in the night. How very interesting.
They were on their way to Astrid's townhouse. Look, it's just down road that direction. And Benny gestures towards the house which he'd seen in the distance. So I had to do the thing with getting him to not go in. I figured once they were in, they were in.
You were preventing harm by them being present during our assault.
Yeah, okay.
Well, and they won't go back to the ink court, which...
An enormous explosion rips through the night air.
And after the kind of last echoes of the explosion kind of echo, like reach their ears from having bounced all around the city, Seeksorrow goes, well, you know that.
I believe the ink court has been destroyed in an explosion.
Benny whispers to Missy, who's now perched on his shoulder, just go and check on Pete for us, would you?
And now we've reached stage 2 of our little intrigue. We have an automaton ready to assume the place of Brother Cadigan.
And Vander gestures at Tok.
And we have a master of deception, Benny.
But Vander, I do not look like Brother Cadigan. There are significant physical differences. I would suggest a different approach.
I am all ears.
Seeksorrow could take the part of Brother Cadigan.
Why would you suggest that?
Tok reaches backwards. Tok reaches backwards and gives Seeksorrow's captain's hat a flick. Like his image wavers and takes the form of Brother Cadigan. Because it's got the disguise self ability.
Amazing.
Says Vander, trying to recover from the massive change that was.
Seeksorrow waves his hand slowly and goes, hello, friends.
Wow.
And Tok will fold his cloak up over his shoulders and thus disappear into it. The cloak falls to the ground.
Vander scoops the cloak up.
Well, boys, I think it's time to meet an old friend. I have words I wish to exchange.
And as Chief Clerk Vale and Brother Cadigan head towards the guarded building, in the distance there is a single crack of thunder and a flash of lightning, which illuminates the imposing and misshapen townhouse that awaits you. And we'll end it there.
You've been listening to Dice Company's Small Embers, starring Alex Morrison as Seeksorrow, Dave Windust as Benny Quez, Charlie Blackadder as Vander Finnick, and Harry King as Tok, with Tom Patrick as your Dungeon Master.
Avros here. The humans of Dice Company would like to thank the following sweethearts for their support. J. Hilda von Greenhorn. M. Corey Mack. Dave Patterson, Boy Genius. Sepulchre Stennet. Marky B. Jenny the War Camel. Stephen Sakura. Mickey Arnold. Happy Daddy Scotty. Tika. Rabbi Camel. Team #Stay Toxic. Path Pursuit. Paris Picard. Shovels. Queenie. And an extra special thanks to our Council of the Rojan members. The Red Right Hand. Shelby Cat, purveyor of exceptional dice. S.J. Phionics. Zeus Legion. Richard Ungamus. Mama Strange. The Tabletop Astronomer. And Chris from North London.
Am I required, Vander? I may help subdue the attack.
Well, hello. that is strike 2 right there.
Right.
That's an outtake.
Let's play out that scene and just see how it goes.
That would have been Tittle Dick if you'd finished that.
Well, little tick would be tittle lick, I suppose, wouldn't it?
And see, I feel like that's strike 3 right there.
Somehow worse. Somehow worse.
Beautiful.
Thank you. Lore.
Thanks for listening. Please consider supporting Dice Company on Patreon, where for the price of a cup of coffee, you get access to a whole other show, Extra Roll, as well as an ad-free listening experience. The Dice Company Discord server, along with our socials, can be found on our link tree in the show notes. If you enjoyed this chapter, please like and subscribe, and don't forget to recommend us to your friends. If you didn't like it, recommend us to your enemies. And we'll see you next time on Dice Company.